Subaru just unveiled the completely redesigned 2026 Outback, and the transformation is so radical that it's dividing the entire automotive community right down the middle. If you've been waiting for Subaru to finally modernize the Outback with more space, better tech, and genuine luxury, this 7th generation delivers everything you've been asking for. But here's the problem. Subaru has also abandoned the iconic wagon silhouette that made the Outback special for 3 decades, replacing it with a tall, boxy SUV design that longtime fans are calling a betrayal of the nameplate's core identity. We're kicking things off with the good stuff, so let's check what makes this redesigned Outback worth your attention. Number 5. Capable Turbo 4. Picture yourself trying to merge onto a busy interstate with your family and camping gear loaded in the back. You floor the accelerator, but your crossover just groans and slowly builds speed while faster traffic bears down on you. It's stressful, it's dangerous, and it's exactly what happens when vehicles are underpowered. That's why the optional 2.4-liter turbocharged Boxer engine is going to transform your driving experience entirely. Pumping out 260 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque, this power plant turns highway merges into non-events and mountain passes into genuinely enjoyable experiences. Unlike peaky Turbo 4s and rivals that need high RPMs to wake up, Subaru's turbocharged Boxer generates a broad, flat torque curve that responds instantly. When you need to overtake that slow-moving RV, the power is there immediately without waiting for the engine to spool up. The Turbo 4 comes standard on Limited XT, Touring XT, and Wilderness trims, so buyers won't have to stretch their budget to the maximum. But raw power means nothing if you can't put it to the ground confidently, which is exactly where Subaru's next strength comes into play. Number 4. Excellent all-wheel drive system. There's nothing more unsettling than feeling your vehicle's front wheels start to slip on a rain-soaked highway. That moment when your steering inputs stop translating into direction changes and you realize you're along for the ride. Most crossovers wait until you're already in trouble before sending power to the rear wheels. That's why Subaru's Symmetrical all-wheel drive remains the benchmark that everyone else is chasing. Unlike reactive all-wheel drive systems found in most crossovers, Subaru's setup is continuously distributing torque to all 4 corners. Therefore, you're getting superior traction before you even realize you need it. Because the engine and transmission sit longitudinally, Subaru can route power through a center differential that actively manages torque split. When you're navigating a slippery forest road, the Outback's all-wheel drive system is constantly adjusting to maintain grip without drama. The redesigned Outback also benefits from Subaru's revised X-Mode system, now featuring a steering wheel-mounted switch. Therefore, drivers can cycle through drive modes without fumbling with touchscreen menus. Ground clearance remains at 8.7 inches for standard models and 9.5 inches for the Wilderness, giving you genuine go-anywhere confidence. All that capability is impressive, but it's completely wasted if you're stuck in a cramped, outdated cabin, and that's where Subaru has made dramatic improvements. Number 3. Modern and well-designed interior. Remember sitting in an older Subaru and thinking, this feels cheaper than the price tag suggests? Gone are the dated plastics and cluttered button layouts, replaced by a cleaner cabin that feels genuinely premium. Richer materials are covering more surfaces, including soft touch panels on the upper dash. But the biggest win is Subaru's decision to ditch the portrait-style touchscreen. Have you ever tried to adjust your climate control while wearing winter gloves, stabbing at a touchscreen multiple times before it registers? It's maddening. The new 12.1-inch landscape display is more intuitive, but more importantly, Subaru has brought back physical buttons and knobs for climate controls. Therefore, you can adjust the temperature by feel alone. The 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster offers multiple display modes, putting navigation maps front and center. Select trims are getting ventilated, Nappa leather seats that add luxury. The overall feel is adventure on the outside, luxury on the inside. So the interior finally matches the price tag, but if you think that's impressive, wait until you see how Subaru has maximized every inch of space. Number 2. Generous passenger and cargo space. How many times have you loaded luggage into a crossover and thought, this should fit, but it doesn't? You're playing Tetris with suitcases and end up cramming items into awkward spaces. That's why the 2026 Outback's dimensional improvements are going to make real-world differences you'll notice immediately. The roofline rises by 2 inches, creating actual usable cargo volume. Large glass surfaces surround the cabin, providing excellent visibility that makes the Outback feel more open than many modern SUVs. Cargo capacity jumps to 35 cubic feet behind the second row, up from 32.4 cubic feet. The roof rails are now rated for 800 pounds of static weight and 220 pounds when moving, turning the Outback into a legitimate adventure platform for rooftop tents or cargo boxes. All that space is fantastic, but here's what really seals the deal. Even the base model comes loaded with features that competitors make you pay extra for. Number 1. Loads of standard equipment. Every 2026 Outback comes standard with a 12.1-inch touchscreen, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and a faster processor. Subaru's EyeSight Driver Assist Suite is also standard, including the new Emergency Stop Assist. If you become suddenly incapacitated, the system can bring the vehicle to a stop and alert emergency services. This is a feature you typically only find in luxury vehicles costing twice as much. Higher trims add hands-free highway driving assistance that works at speeds up to 85 miles per hour. Practical features are everywhere. Door pockets for 32-ounce water bottles with carpeted linings, hooks in the cargo area, and a tonneau cover with 10 anchor points. For families who need versatility without paying luxury prices, the 2026 Outback is stacking up as one of the smartest buys in the segment. Those strengths paint an impressive picture, but there are 3 significant compromises that could be deal breakers. Let's examine what Subaru got wrong. Number 3. Underwhelming base engine. The standard 2.5-liter naturally aspirated boxer engine is dropping to 180 horsepower, down 2 horsepower from the outgoing model. This engine is going to struggle, particularly when accelerating from a stop or climbing mountain passes with passengers and cargo. The problem isn't just the power output, it's how the power arrives. You're going to hear the engine working hard, but you're not feeling proportional forward progress. It's that frustrating disconnect where the noise suggests speed, but the speedometer tells a different story. Competitors are equipping their base models with turbocharged engines that deliver stronger low-end torque. Unfortunately, the turbo upgrade is only available on higher trim levels, forcing you into a more expensive package when all you wanted was adequate power. That power deficit is bad enough, but it's made even worse by the transmission Subaru pairs with every single Outback. Number 2. CVT. Every single 2026 Outback comes with a continuously variable transmission, and there's no way around it. The fundamental character of a CVT remains unchanged, so you're not getting the crisp, decisive shifts of a traditional automatic. The rubber band effect is still present, creating a disconnect between driver input and vehicle response. The engine revs up to a certain RPM and stays there while the vehicle's speed gradually catches up. This sensation is particularly noticeable in the turbocharged models, where the engine's power gets filtered through the CVT's stepless operation. The CVT also affects towing. With a loaded trailer on steep grades, the transmission hunts for the right ratio, causing the engine to surge and drop in RPMs. But as frustrating as the mechanical compromises are, nothing is dividing opinions more than what Subaru has done to the Outback's appearance. Number 1. Styling. When you think about the Subaru Outback, what image comes to mind? For decades, it's been that lifted wagon with chunky fenders, a rugged yet refined appearance that stood apart. That's why the 2026 Outback's radical redesign is splitting the fanbase right down the middle. Subaru has abandoned the wagon silhouette that defined the Outback for 3 decades, replacing it with a tall, boxy SUV shape that looks more like a downsized 4Runner. The massive upright grille and pronounced wheel arches create a tough appearance, but longtime Outback owners are going to feel like Subaru has betrayed the vehicle's core identity. The 2026 Outback is handsome in its own right, but it's not recognizable as an Outback anymore. The original Outback carved out a unique niche as a lifted wagon that offered SUV-like ground clearance without the bulk. That identity is gone now, replaced by a vehicle that blends into the sea of generic crossovers. The Wilderness trim takes the controversial styling even further, with massive black cladding and blocky Subaru lettering across the grille. Sales figures will ultimately determine whether Subaru made the right call, but early reactions suggest a divided audience that's passionate on both sides. The 2026 Subaru Outback is shaping up to be one of the most polarizing redesigns in recent automotive history. The redesigned Outback delivers everything you've been waiting for. But if you're frustrated by the weak base engine, can't stand the disconnected feel of the CVT, or simply can't accept that Subaru has abandoned the iconic wagon silhouette for yet another generic SUV shape, then this transformation is going to feel like a betrayal. Subaru has created a vehicle that's objectively better in almost every measurable way, but in doing so, they've fundamentally changed what it means to be an Outback, and that's a trade-off that not every loyal customer is willing to make. Subaru has prepared a lot of novelties for 2026, so make sure to check out our video about the changes for the 2026 Crosstrek as well. If you think subcompact crossovers mean lots of compromises, this one is about to prove you wrong. Capable, practical, and efficient, the Crosstrek stands as the most complete small SUV you can buy today.